banned from Universal. Hi guys, my name is Maryelin. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you've never seen my face before. I honestly don't know where to begin because my intentions when starting this channel were to make it a beauty channel, but considering everything that has happened this past month, I just kind of want to go on a rant with this, and I just want to let out my feelings about how I feel about the situation. So yeah, without further ado, let's go right on ahead and hop right into the video. So my roommate, who is also one of my best friends, her birthday was on October 19th, and she does this thing that she goes to Halloween Horror Nights with her family every year. And last year she invited me to go, and I went and I liked it. I had fun, and it was us, like a group of friends, and her family was there. Well, her mom was there. It was a good experience. It was fun. So this year came around and she invited me to go again, and luckily her birthday landed on a Thursday. Our plans were to go to Halloween Horror Nights the following day, which landed on a Friday, obviously. So that being said, on Friday we went to class, and then after class we went directly to Orlando, where we were gonna meet up with her family. We had bought our tickets already, like we bought them like a couple weeks before, and we were all set to go to Universal Studios. So we go. The trip isn't that long. I miraculously managed to stay awake the whole trip. I love sleeping in cars. I don't know why, it's my thing, but surprisingly when I'm with her and we're in a car, I'm usually awake most of the time. So I stayed awake throughout the whole trip to Orlando. And whatever, we get to Orlando, we eat, we settle in, we rented an Airbnb. So at around 7 more or less, we get to Universal Studios, and we get down, we bring out our tickets, like we go through security, they let us in, they check our bags, we're good to go. So we step in and we start making the lines going into the houses. The lines surprisingly were all like more or less around like 30 minutes because they tend to get really packed. So we were trying to go to like the best ones first. So we went into American Horror Story, and after that one we went into The Shining. I don't even think it was midnight. Yeah, it was definitely not midnight yet. So we went into a few houses. We're walking around, and my friend's sister had bought 2 alcoholic beverages. So she had one of them, and then the other she had given it to her cousin, which is also like our friend too. Like he's like, I believe he's 18, he's around my age. I'm not gonna say any names because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I don't think we can get in trouble, but I'm just not gonna say any names. So she gives the beverage to her cousin, and he's holding it and he drinks from it. And then we're all walking towards one of the areas where they're doing like a live show on like the streets of Universal, and they were doing the purge. So they're doing the purge and we're all like into it. We're just standing there and we're watching like everyone. We're trying to take pictures. He's holding the cup, and then she has the other one, and then he drinks from it, and then he tells me and my other friend, and he goes like, oh, here, do you guys want? So me and my friend, we get the drink, we take like 1 sip, and then we give it back to him, and then we're all just watching the show, and he still has the cup in his hand. And out of nowhere, like 2 minutes later, we're trying to decide, oh, what house do we go to next? Should we get on a ride? Like we were trying to decide what to do. So as we're trying to decide what we're gonna do with our lives, 2 undercover workers surround the 3 of us and they're like, oh hi, we're doing random ID check, we're gonna have to see IDs. Luckily I had my ID. It was in between, like I had it inside of like my phone in my phone case. So they're asking us for IDs, and I believe I was probably the first one to turn it in. So I give it to the lady and I'm like, here. So she looks at my ID, and then she looks at me and she's like, oh, I see you're not 21 yet. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm literally 19. So then she goes like, since you're not 21 yet, I'm gonna need for you and your two friends to go with us to the front, and we're gonna have to sit you down and you guys are gonna have to talk about what happened. And I'm like, what do you mean? And at this point, I'm not really freaking out. I'm just like, why are they making such a big deal out of this? Like, it was probably like at the most like 2 sips that I took, and I just gave the cup back. So this lady's out here looking like she's trying to arrest me, and I'm like, you need to relax. So whatever, I'm just like upset because they're like trying to ruin our night. We're having so much fun at this point. So me and my 2 friends, we walk to the front, and the lady at this point, she's still holding on to my ID. She's like, oh, you can't get it back, you can't get it back. And I'm like, why not? Like, I'm walking with you. Like, I guess she thought I was gonna run away. Like, what dumb tries to do that? They have cameras everywhere around the park. So I'm like, running is not an option, but whatever. She stayed with my ID until we got to the front. So we go to the front, and the rest of the group just kind of like stays behind. They're kind of freaking out. They're like, oh, like, we're being separated. That's what we didn't want to do. We didn't want to be separated. So they take us 3 up to the front. They take us like behind this restricted area, which is for employees only. So we go in, and they have this whole setup. I felt like I was walking into like a police station. I felt like I had just gotten caught selling drugs to like everyone inside of Universal. Like, it was intense. So we walk in, and then there's like a few cops standing like in the corner, and then there's workers, and they have their little laptops, like they're doing their thing. So they're like, oh, go ahead and take a seat in front of some guy that was there. So we go and we take a seat in front of the guy, and the guy's like, oh, why are you guys here? I didn't really say anything. It was mostly our friend. He was the one talking most of the time, and he was explaining. He's like, oh, we had this cup. It had an alcoholic drink inside, and we took a few sips from it, but the cup, it wasn't ours. So the guy's like, okay, that's fine, you know, you guys are being honest, you're not lying about what happened. So we're thinking like, okay, great, can we go now? Like, we just wanted to get back to the park. They pull out these white papers, and they like tell us like, oh, like, fill it in, write your name, your age, your weight, like your eye color, your hair color. Like, they were getting descriptive details of us. So we fill it in. They still have our IDs at this point. My friend gave in her passport because she doesn't have her stupid ID. So they have our stuff, and we're filling this out. We give it back to the guy. I get my ID back, and then my friend gets her passport back, thrown at her, by the way. Like, the lady who gave it back, she like threw my friend's passport, and I was like, why are they so aggressive here? Like, relax. And it was the same girl that caught us. Like, I think she had something against us. After we get our IDs back, they hand us a pink paper that was being filled out with our information from our IDs. So we get the pink paper, and we're looking at it, and I guess the guy who gave us the paper saw that we were kind of like, what the hell is this? So he tells us like, oh, that's just information that we keep in our system in Universal Studios. So they tell us, we're sorry, since you guys broke the law and you guys were drinking underage, you can't be here, you're trespassing. And we're like, what? So we had to leave the premises. we were escorted out, not by cops. Well, there was like one cop in the car, but it was like in a van. They took us in a van to the parking lot, and we left. And that's pretty much the story of how I got banned from Universal for a year. So this is just a warning for those of you who didn't know. They take underage drinking extremely serious. Like, you cannot be caught like taking like a sip from a cup, because they will get you and they will ban you, and you will probably get arrested if you say like, oh, I wasn't drinking. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Universal overreacted. They shouldn't have kicked us out for a whole year. Like, maybe like, okay, whatever, like take us out for the rest of the night, but a whole year, like, come on, dude. It's not like you caught me throwing up in your freaking garbage can because of how drunk I was. Like, they went to the extreme. But so yeah, guys, be very careful if you ever decide to go to Universal. Don't drink if you're not 21 yet, because yeah, this will happen to you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me once again, or thank you for hanging out with me if you were new. And lastly, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I think that is all for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Like, oh, let's go try her sister, and then a bunch of our other was like, oh, yeah, borrow some chips.